Right, welcome to Mentoring Myself. This is a transformational podcast. I am Natalie J Whyte, and I am a transformational lifestyle coach, which means basically turning your life into a lifestyle of happiness and fulfillment and joy and all the good stuff. So, this podcast is all about looking back at your younger self and giving yourself the best advice. So, it's like passing back wisdom a few years back. And today we have my very own coach. I had to make him be the first person because I'd love to hear what he would have told himself when he was younger. So I just want to introduce to you. This is Charles Weyer. And Charles, you go ahead. Tell us what you do and what your mission is.
Nat, thank you so much. Such a privilege to be on your podcast. It looks beautiful. I'm really excited, and I love the idea. I love the concept of, what would you tell your younger self? So what I do is I am a transformational coach. I coach professionals to level up their performance and their awareness so that they can scale their income and their impact, so that they can basically grow as entrepreneurs, as coaches, and as professionals. I use NLP, life coaching, and hypnosis, as well as the application of universal principles, because a lot of what people do focus on the mind or the body, although knowing that the mind and the body is one cybernetic system, they're not separated. I think it's important to look at every human being as a whole being, not just a mind or a body. It's a holistic process. So even when it comes to business, all these things come into play. You can't separate your business from your mind and your body. So everything affects everything else. So I like the holistic perspective of it. And I'm absolutely obsessed with language and neuro-linguistic programming and how language affects our neurology and also the language that our neurology speaks. A lot of people think that neuro-linguistic programming, because they did a course on it, they think it is only words that affect the change process, but it's actually the language of the subconscious, the feelings, the proximity and the movement of the central nervous system, the body and the physiology in related to the central nervous system as a holographic system that influences the mind and the body and the external reality.
Wow.
So I know you have a question.
That's pretty amazing quantum stuff there, hey? I love it. I love the fusion of neuroscience and quantum psychology, quantum physics together. This is where things are going, hey?
Absolutely.
I love it. I love the work that we're doing together as well, especially when we do the quantum sort of visualizations. That's one of my favorite things. It really shifts stuff for me instantly, to the degree that I'm always laughing at the end of each process. Just joy just springs out. So I love it. So here comes your important question. What advice would you give your younger self?
So like I had a few ideas, like even before starting the podcast, I thought I would probably tell my younger self to fail often, to fail quickly, so that I could come over the fear of failure and see that failure is just one step closer to success. But then as you speak to me now, my mind always changes. It changes a lot, and I think maybe there are someone that find more value, and even my younger self, now that I think of it, the biggest part I think that I could give my younger self, and then I would even give my children, or anyone for that matter, who is on some sort of path of self-realization or growth, or just want to live a more fulfilling and happier life, is I would explain to my younger self that there is no force in this universe. There is no being, there is no human, there is no spirit, there is no circumstance that has the ability to affect your state of being. Even by one iota, there is nothing that can make you feel bad, that can make you feel depressed or anxious or anything other than joy or whatever it is you want to feel, purely because of the fact that we can only feel something if we give it permission to affect us, right? And I think that's probably what I would tell my younger self. I would let him know how powerful he is, that nothing can affect his state of being without his permission. Like that is something that I drill with my coaching clients, like these professionals who find themselves so stressed or anxious or even depressed, is because they have a belief that says certain things equals certain feelings. But that's not true. That is not true. We don't have control over the weather, over our staff, over the economy, over traffic, but we have 100% influence over our state of being. 100%. And once people can get over those beliefs that anything really has an effect on me without my permission, that's when true empowerment starts. Because everything that you say, every decision that you make, every action that you take flows from the state of being you are in. So your state of being affects the quality of your reality and everything that you do. So that would probably be the gold nuggets I would drop on my younger self, is that you are so powerful. Nothing in this universe can affect your state of being without your permission.
Oh, that is powerful. I love it because also there's so much going on about learning to put yourself in altered states. So using your breathing, using your posture, using visualizations and that kind of stuff to put yourself in an altered state. I just have a little follow-on question there because even for myself, and this is something that we've been working on, there'll be a certain state, like let's say, for example, late afternoon slump, perhaps you haven't eaten the most nutritious lunch or something like that, and you feel that slump and you're like, oh, I don't really feel like it. And even though you can choose, okay, I want to be in a performance state right now, I've got a client coming up, or I've got to do some marketing or whatever the case, there's sort of this part of you that goes, oh, but it's okay that I'm tired. Like it makes sense that I'm tired. I've been working all day, so it's not a surprise that I'm tired. I should just have a cup of coffee or something like that just to pep me up. I'm still controlling my state, right? Because it's my choice to have the coffee. But how do you overcome that little voice that says it's okay to be tired? It's okay to feel angry right now. People love feeling angry because it makes you feel like you're justified. So, or you're irritated or annoyed with something. You want to explain all the reasons why you're annoyed. And it feels almost nice to be in that state because you feel justified in being in it. How do you, from that point, move yourself to an altered state where you're like, no, I don't want this trash. I don't want to feel like this.
All right. So a lot of this comes down to what is familiar, right? Because our states, our programs, our belief systems are basically based on familiarity, right? That is why a lot of people are stuck abusing certain substances or just stuck in bad habits that aren't, propelling them into the most evolved self, and achieving the things that they want to and that they know they can achieve, because states feel comfortable. When we are angry, we feel comfortable in that anger, because it's just what our nervous system knows and is comfortable with. So I think the key to understanding, or the key to mastering one's state, right, comes first of all, to be willing to be uncomfortable, right? Like we have to be willing to experience that unknown, what it would feel like if I was presented with a situation and not get angry about it, right? In the beginning, it's uncomfortable, but everything is a program. So in neurolinguistic programming, for instance, we have these four stages of learning, right? Let's say you want to beat the habit of drinking coffee or anything else, or you want to be less reactive with your spouse, or just create better habits at work, or financial habits. So first of all, it is setting that intention. Like, okay, I don't want to rely on substances, or I want to be more loving when my partner acts a certain way. It can be anything. So it's the intention that you actually want change. That's probably the prerequisite, or the obvious prerequisite. And then it is that willingness to get uncomfortable, that willingness to experience something that is not familiar. because this is what the brain fears. This is why we fear growth unconsciously. Is we don't really fear failure or what might happen. It's that we fear the unknown. That is the primal human fear. Is we fear the unknown because what is known is safe. It feels safe, right? So then we have to go through these 4 stages of learning this new way of being. The first one is unconscious incompetence. It's I don't know that I don't know, right? Until we are made aware, until I realize that shit, I'm addicted to this substance, right? I reach for it unconsciously because I believe it's going to put me in this state, right? So first of all, whenever we use a substance to get us in a certain state, it means that we are disempowered because we are giving our power to master our own state of being to this substance or this thing or food. Even like a lot of people just eat to feel better.
Definitely.
Right?
Hot chocolate.
I used to eat. Yeah. All right. So this is, and I'm not saying it's wrong to eat chocolate. Like I eat chocolate, I drink coffee, it's just like I understand that I do it in a way that doesn't affect me, that doesn't make me rely on these things, right? This is the very, very important thing. You got to know yourself. But when you become aware of like, okay, this thing is a problem in my life, I need to change it. It's not serving me. It's taking away my energy. It's taking away my mental clarity. It's taking away my healthy relationship, whatever it is, it's taking from my health, right? We've got that intention. Now it's the first key is that unconscious incompetence, right? I don't know that I don't know. So we start to change it and we start working towards it. We start changing that habit. So we create a new little ritual for ourselves, for instance, that replaces this bad habit, okay? Or this habit, I won't call it bad, this habit that's not serving my highest evolution. Then it comes to conscious incompetence. Like then it's like, okay, I realize that I'm battling with this. It's difficult. It's like riding a bicycle for the first time. Like when you're born, you don't know about a bicycle. You're unconscious incompetent. You don't know that you can't ride a bicycle. Until you see someone ride a bicycle, you're 4 or 5 years old. Now you ride a bicycle, but then you are in that stage of conscious incompetence. Like you can't ride it. You're wobbly, you fall over 10, 15 times until you get better at it, until you get good. Okay, it takes a couple of days, usually 21 days for us to install a habit and 66 days for it to be fully automatic, right? So then we move into that conscious competent. That's the third stage. Like now I can ride my bike. It still takes me like conscious effort, or riding a car. I can change the gears now. I have to still think about it, but I'm consciously competent. I can do it with my conscious mind. And then the final stage of change, of transformation, of creating new habits and stepping into a new way of being, then it becomes unconscious competence, right? Then you do it without thinking about it. Then you can change your state by simply changing your physiology or your breathing, or you have a little anchor ritual that you use to just unconsciously get into that state. Or now you ride a car, but you don't even have to think about the clutch and the gears because you've done it often enough. You've created neurons firing together to eventually wire together. So to get them to fire together is intention. I want this to happen. I am committing to make this happen. And then when you do it often enough, it becomes automatic and then it's easy, right? Then you're back into a comfort zone, right? So you've been in this comfort, right? But that is where growth and change happens. A lot of people, why they don't change is simply that they are fear of getting uncomfortable, so they're not willing to commit to a greater ideal because it's so easy to stay in that comfort zone and not grow. But that's actually really difficult for me.
Yeah, and I think also just the way that things are going in the, in the contextually, it's a lot easier time to go, okay, no, well, things aren't going well, and then not actually, not actually make yourself do the work. Because you're like, oh, well, it's not going well for anybody, so it's a shitty time right now. I think it's that complacency that we sit in, like, oh, it's rough times for everyone. Okay, sure, and instead of actually going, no, you know what? Some people are thriving beyond right now because of the revolution in terms of technology and everything that has happened as a result of this. What's the context? So I'm going to put you on the spot. One takeaway that you would want to leave people with, just one. It can be a quick snippet, it can be a little explanation, but it'll take you like a minute. Tell us what you think. One takeaway that people can take from you.
Right. So if you're watching this podcast and you're feeling stuck in any area of your life, whether it's business, landing more clients, upping your sales, letting go of bad habits, creating or living your dream, living an extraordinary life, there is one nugget that I believe trumps any technique. It trumps just about anything out there in terms of getting you to move from where you are to where you want to be in the fastest possible time, is to commit, to make a decision that you are going to achieve what you're going to achieve. And here's the three magic words, and I think I shared this with you earlier, Nat.
Mm-hmm.
It's no matter what.
Mm.
The moment you commit to something, no matter what, is the moment that you say, I'm going to get uncomfortable. I'm not scared. I'm going to let go of all my excuses, because no matter what means nothing is going to stand in my way between me and my desired outcome.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
if you want something, just commit to it no matter what. And then you will attract to you the opportunities, the people, the places, the synchronicities, the ideas that will get you moving in that direction. Even if you don't know what it will look like, how the process will look like, when you commit, everything will come to you at the right time.
I love that. No matter what. That's great. Yeah, I've written it nice and big in my journal.
Awesome.
It's a great one. And for me, that one, it's actually what you say, it's been like a recurring thing in my life lately, because with I've started a whole lot of different other ventures and things that I'm getting interested in. And, there's those moments, the entrepreneurship journey is sort of up and down and up and down. And then I'll drive past a random, or I'll go, like, let's say, into a random little coffee shop or something, and I'll find there's a particular nougat. I think it's like Wedgwood nougat or something. And this is like a handcrafted home little business that any coffee shop, any little spa that you go in, any little garage, there's this nougat. And why? Because this person wanted to get their nougat out there no matter what. I mean, it's, to me, to think of people who want to change the world and do these big things. Okay, no matter what, you can see them striving. But this person really wanted to get their nougat out there. And they were going to do it no matter what. And everywhere you go, you can find this nougat. And it's such a small, basic thing. And it's just proof to me that it doesn't matter what you want to do. If you love it, if you want to express yourself, if this is your highest value, if this is what feels good for you and you just want to do it no matter what, that's your thing. That's your thing. So I love that, no matter what. Okay, so can you just end off, I want to say thank you so much for just, we've been friends for a few years, and just thanks for your friendship, and thank you for the mentoring and the coaching. I'm absolutely flying. I'm loving it. And then just, if anyone's interested, how do they get hold of you? How do they find you?
So Nats, I have a Facebook page. You can find me on Charlie Weyer on my personal Facebook page. So I like to build relationships with people. Like, if anyone wants to get in touch with me, send me a message on Facebook, check out my content. I love having conversations with people. I actually dedicate time every week to interact with people who join my Facebook groups. I answer as many questions as I can. And I do have a website. People can check it out. It's the Conscious Wi-Fi, www.theconsciouswifi.com. If anyone wants to work with me professionally, or just pop me a message on Facebook. Let's have a chat. I like to do it that way, because I believe life is all about having relationships. Even in business, when you start having relationships with people, then you start building a community instead of just building a business.
Yeah, definitely. We're creating our own village here. And we don't even need to live in the same place. We now have
these
days. Fantastic. So my dear friend, thank you so much. It's a great start to this podcast. I feel so happy and so grateful for this opportunity, and all the work that we've been doing. So I hope you have a super day, and just keep on being awesome, the awesome you that I know.
My friend, this is an amazing podcast. I love the idea of what you would tell your younger self. It's going to do so well. I'm really excited. And thank you for having me on as your first guest. It's a real honor.
Wouldn't have it any other way. It's my pleasure. Great. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching, for listening. And I'm going to say goodbye. This was our first episode of Mentoring Myself, which is a transformational podcast all about what would you tell your younger self. So thank you, Charlie. Off you go. And
Pleasure, Nat.
we'll hear you on the next one. We'll chat on the next things. Cheers.